like to share with you ways to make your Zoom experience a little bit better for both yourself and other members of your Zoom meeting. I think it's helpful to look at a Zoom meeting as if it were a television broadcast and you are both the director and the broadcast star, as it were. A couple of things before we begin. I am going to be doing a real no-no in a Zoom meeting, and that is moving my device around to show you some examples of things that are distracting and so on. And you'll note, when I move the device, it'll be very disturbing to you. It's dizzying, it's weird, it moves around. So do as I say, not as I do, at least during this talk, please. Okay, a second thing to remember is we are on the internet on a Zoom meeting, and therefore we'd like to have as much bandwidth of it as available as possible that can be available. So I recommend that you turn off any other devices that are using the internet when you're doing your Zoom meeting. So other computers, tablets, turn off the Wi-Fi of your phone, whatever you need to do to create more bandwidth for yourself. I also recommend that you go ahead and turn off your email program and your internet browser when you're in the meeting. So really your full bandwidth is given to your interchange on Zoom. Okay, well, as I said, it's helpful to look at a Zoom meeting as a TV broadcast. If so, what are the elements that make going to a TV broadcast? Well, we're very used to looking at announcers on television, and we are very used to seeing them on a screen. We are very unused to being that announcer and talking to a camera. But that's exactly what you do when you're a television broadcaster, and your Zoom meeting is that. So what are the elements that are very important to that broadcast? 1 is camera angles. 2 is lighting. 3 is background. 4 is audio, but for a Zoom meeting, let's concentrate on the mute button, which seems to be a factor in everybody's life on Zoom, whether for good or bad. We're going to start with camera angles. Now, something we all use, an electronic device that we're very used to using and very seldom use the way a camera is used on a television broadcast. That is, the camera wants to be line of sight with your eyes as you, the presenter. The camera is right there. It is not down here or over here or somewhere here. If I look at the faces on my screen right now, if I look at all your faces, you'll note that I'm not looking at you anymore. But if I look at my camera, it looks as though I'm making eye contact with you as much as possible. So you want to look at the camera. And in order to make that happen more easily, you need to get your device up off what you're used to having it. You're used to having it on a desk, in your lap, in your hand. You're always looking down on it. That's a very uncomfortable position for your viewers to see you looking at them. And as a matter of fact, when you're looking down on it, you seldom are looking at the camera. So let me show you something. This is my stand for my computer to get my camera to be at eye level with me. Now, I threw that in there because that's worth more than my computer right at the moment, but I thought I'd show you that. So, you're at home. You're going to need to improvise. We don't have a camera that's on a stand. We need to move it around. Okay, find something. Toilet paper, books, box, whatever you have handy, and put your computer on there or whatever device you have so that the camera right there is even with your eyes, so you can look easily at your audience. Now, if you're using a phone for this, it's sometimes handy to have a holder so you can place the phone on top of that rather than to try to hold it in place or something like that. That's camera angle for our Zoom meeting. Let's talk about lighting. Now, lighting, again, we're in a home, we're not in a studio. So how do you find the lights that you need? Because basically, your eye is going to be drawn to the brightest thing it sees. So if you have a distracting background like this right here, suddenly your eye is going to be drawn to that corner and away from my face. If my face is the only thing lit in your picture, you're going to see my face and concentrate on that more. What kind of lighting are we looking for on our face? Are we looking for really, really bright natural light? Maybe. But from that side, of course, we're in shadow on this side. We want something that's even across us as best we can with a little top light so that there's some dimensionality. If you're just lit from the front, you look really flat on the TV screen, as it were. So let's try to find a way where we have light from most of the sides, not directly in front of us. And I've done that here by experimenting with what I can do to find out natural light. Now I'm going to show you something else we really don't want to do, which is this. We have lots of chairs in our living rooms where we have a beautiful window behind us so we can read our book and be comfortable and have natural light. But if you put that behind you, you can see that it is not working for a Zoom presentation. So you do not want a bright light behind you. It puts you into darkness. Even as you can make it, and of course in this situation right here, I'm noticing, look at this white part of my hair here, which I'm anything but proud of, is lit the most in this picture. So it shows at home you have to make compromises. Another thing you need to be aware of is glasses. They will reflect whatever light is in front of them. So if you're using a screen device and that screen is at full, you will notice that there are reflections in your glasses. You have two choices. One, take your glasses off, which if you're reading something isn't going to work, or two, you turn down the level of your screen such that I can still see. I have about 5 bars of my little sunshine thing there, and I'm much less reflective in my glasses. So right now I'm leaving my glasses on. If perhaps I was doing a competitive speech, I might do this just to get a little more eye contact. So that's lighting, even across and not some bright distraction somewhere else. Let's talk about background. We're at home, so I can see stuff in people's houses. That's going to distract from your presentation. If there's a way that you can find the plainest background you can, that is a wall without pictures on it maybe, or something that isn't going to be, let's say, a picture of, one more time. If this is my background, you're going to be wondering, hey, what's he having for dinner? What's going on? What's on his spice shelf? Well, I don't want you to be thinking about my spice shelf. I want you to be thinking about what I'm telling you. So I hung a dark blanket behind me. You may not be able to do that, but find a quiet background. That is an unstimulating background as best you can in your home. And that will help them concentrate on you, not on your home. Moving on to audio. Now we're talking into a microphone, but when there's 10 or 15 of us on microphones, if those microphones are on, you're going to hear all kinds of distracting noises, other conversations, whatever from somebody else. It takes away from what your message is. So we all need, as a group, to have our microphone muted when someone else is presenting, so that whatever's happening in our background is not distracting them and or from their message. So you either reach down and click on the microphone icon in your lower left of your screen. There should be a red line through that. If there isn't, you need to click on it so that there is a red line if you want to be muted. To speak, you need to do the opposite. You need to click it again, the red line goes away, you have an operating microphone. However, this is a hard thing to remember. We are not used to turning on and off microphones in order to speak to someone. We're on a phone, we talk when we want to, we're on a chat, whatever, we don't think about it. But with so many people, we have to. There's a better way than reaching down, finding that icon, and clicking on it. And that is the space bar. If your mic is muted and you press and hold your space bar, you are unmuting your microphone for as long as you're holding the space bar down. As soon as you release it, you have muted your microphone again. So rather than having to fish down and do one of these where you're looking at the screen and you lose all contact, you can just press the space bar, you can ask your question or give your comment, you can let go, and you're muted again. So I think that is going to be one of the more helpful things that we can do in the audio. The other thing is, many people use headphones. We're used to using these headphones for a phone. They have earpieces, obviously, so we can hear, and there is a microphone that's there, and that's this little device here, and usually there's a little hole on one side or the other. If you're presenting with these, you want to be sure that that little hole, that is the microphone, is actually facing your mouth and not like buried into your shirt or under your collar or something else. We're not going to hear that very well. I'm not using that this time because mine is, it's not working very well with my computer. It's intermittent. It is, however, better to use a microphone that's plugged into your device than the ambient microphone that I'm using now. Why? Because you can hear my refrigerator buzzing over here, or you might hear just a little more ambient sound than you want to. If I have the headphones and are more located closer to my mouth, you're going to hear more of that directly. So I apologize for the airy sound you're hearing now, but I am in the process of finding some new headphones. So those four elements, if we concentrate on the camera angle and actually look at the camera's here, it's not where you guys are. Your faces are at the camera now, not where your faces appear to be in front of me. If we pay attention to that, if we pay attention to lighting such that it's either not distracting or not just uncomfortable to look at, like it's only coming from one side or something like that, then we'll be in good shape. We want even lighting across. We want a non-distracting, non-revealing background. Doesn't have to be dark like this one. I just happen to have this one and it works very well because all you really see is me. It's just this. And that's what I want you to see. So a background, just as plain as you can get it, is going to work the best and most effectively. Although a handsome bookshelf is on every newscaster's presentation right now, so perhaps we can deal with a nice bookshelf, but let's not be showing our personal items to people on our Zoom meeting, unless that's the intention. Actually, I forgot one other thing about backgrounds, and while I'm on that, let me just say there is the virtual backgrounds that you can find, which are kind of fun on your Zoom program. However, I don't recommend them for anything unless you're goofing around with your friends, because they're very unstable, they're very distracting. They're a great laugh if that's what you're after, but really to do some serious communicating, it's better not to have those and just to have some sort of plain background. Okay, we talked about the mute button. The space bar is your friend. And at that, now, how do we know if any of this is working? How do we know what our light looks like? Before you start your meeting, open the Zoom program, go to the home page, hit the orange camera icon, which says start a new meeting. When you press that, you're going to be able to unmute the camera and the microphone. You unmute the camera and you are seeing on your screen what everybody else is seeing. So you can use it as your personal monitor, set all the lighting looks, everything like that, get your background in shape, say, oh wait, did I want this to be here? No. Did I want that? No. But you can do all that ahead of time. You set that, then you close the program and you go to the link for the meeting you want to attend and you'll be set to go. If you press the shield icon in the upper left of that same screen, that's your settings. There you are able to click on audio in the settings menu, and you can test your microphone and test your speakers. So you can be completely ready with all of those things taken care of ahead of your meeting, and when you sign into the meeting with everyone else, you're going to be way ahead of the game. So please enjoy your next Zoom meeting.